Good afternoon, everybody. No, I'm sorry, we can do better than that. Come on. We have defeated COVID, we've defeated a petrol shortage, and we are here, and we're excited to be here. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, it's improvement. Anyway, it's lovely to be here. It's lovely to be here. As Alistair said, my name is Mike Crowther. I'm the Chief Exec of Empowerment, a local charity. I first want to say, and it's something that I'm very passionate about, is that Social Enterprise Solutions is to be commended and applauded for making this event happen. Dialogue, being in the same room, sharing all the amazing things that are happening in Blackpool is more essential than ever. We need to understand what each other is doing. And I've already learnt loads already this afternoon, learnt a lot. And that can only make us better, because as always been said, is that in Blackpool and the Fylde Coast, we know the challenges. We know how difficult things are, but I am privileged to work and be in this room this afternoon and work with a team at Empowerment who are full of creativity, full of passion, and want to make the change. And we need each other. We need to support each other. So I'm thrilled to be here this afternoon. And thank you once again. Empowerment is, as I said, a local charity. We're actually based in Bispam, 333 Bispam Road. But our staff and our volunteers spend the vast majority of the time actually out in the community. We have been around in one form or another since 1995, and we remain one of Blackpool and the Fylde Coast's best kept secrets, even though we work with thousands of people every year. We run a range of services and projects, employ staff, the vast majority of whom live locally as well, and that's very important to us. But all that we do is about getting people's voices heard. And when people's voices aren't heard, when they're not listened to, when they're not taken seriously, then we believe and we know that people don't get the care and support that they have a right to. So we are an advocacy charity, dedicated to getting people's voices heard. And I'd just like to share with you 3 of our projects this afternoon. Although Alistair did say that we're going to be finished about 3:30, I'm going to try my best to make sure that we stick to that, because I can talk and talk a lot. So I'm just going to talk about 3 projects and really surround those 3 projects actually and place at the heart 3 people, Andrew, Rachel and Elliot. 2 of the names have been changed, but they're based on real circumstances. First of all, about Andrew. Andrew is common to our experience of many people here in Blackpool. Andrew has a history of severe mental illness. And despite the best efforts of health and social care staff over the years, really has struggled to get his voice across because he lacks confidence. He doesn't believe that anybody wants to listen to him. And therefore, he very often doesn't get the treatment that he needs. But 3 years ago, he approached our Motivate 2 project, encouraged by a mate who'd actually used the service. And Motivate 2 is an advocacy project run by people with a history of mental health issues. We're big believers at Empowerment, as I know many of us are, of using our lived experience to make a difference to other people's lives. So all of the volunteers, all of the paid staff on Motivate 2 have a personal history of mental health issues and have reached that stage in life where they want to give something back and support each other. So Andrew was assigned one of our advocates, and our advocate went to where Andrew lives and formed a trusting relationship, because Andrew didn't trust many people at that stage, felt let down. And the advocate said, what is it you want? What is it you want to get across? What is the help that you need? And then what happened, that advocate accompanied Andrew on a one-to-one basis through a series of appointments with doctors, with social workers, with psychiatrists, with nurses. And the purpose was that Andrew could clearly communicate what he needed. And sometimes he was doing it all by himself. He just had somebody by his side helping him to do that. And I know that in terms of the frontline services you provide as well, And sometimes, I'm sure, because I've been told this before, is that actually you can do the best job when you fully understand what that person's needs and wishes are. So the role of our advocates is to actually ensure that that person feels confident, safe and secure in communicating what help they need. Now, life is not perfect. Andrew still has that lived experience of mental health, but he is getting now the support, the treatment and the care that he needed because of the advocate. 12 months, just over 12 months, once Andrew had stopped using our services, he got in contact. Not to be re-engaged as a person receiving support, although we would have taken him on, but actually said he wanted to volunteer. He actually now wanted to give something back. So Andrew went through the training programme and has now been volunteering for us for about 18 months, 2 years, giving something back. Andrew is now looking for work. He may find it with us, he may find it elsewhere. But that all started with an advocate being by Andrew's side, and now he wants to give something back. So that's Motivate 2, a project run by people with a history of mental health, giving something back to people going through similar experiences. The service is free and can be accessed by, I'll give our contact details at the end of when I finish speaking. The second person I want to speak about is Rachel. So Rachel lives in Blackpool, is 7 years old, and every day experienced domestic abuse in the home by a mum and a stepdad. She wasn't a witness to that domestic abuse. She didn't view it. She experienced the domestic abuse, the violence, the fear, and the intimidation. And it's just the fact that in Blackpool and the Fylde Coast, hundreds of children are experiencing that each and every day. Fortunately, actually a health professional, who was supporting the mum, had heard about our project, The Den. And The Den is made up of a team of people who provide one-to-one support for children and young people experiencing domestic abuse here in Blackpool and the Fylde Coast. We now know, and there should be no doubt about it, that whatever children experience as children, if not receiving support then and there, they will bear the consequences of that for the rest of their lives. In mental and physical ill health, in repeating patterns of behaviour, in school absenteeism, and the life chances of that child and that young person are severely affected. We know that. But we also know that actually if that child gets the right support at the right time, then actually, no matter what they've experienced, their lives can be changed forever. So our staff work one-to-one. We listen to their stories. We create a safe environment in which they can get one-to-one support. We help the children to keep safe. We also bring children together to be children in youth clubs and in activities so they can actually just experience what every child should experience, which is to play and just to have fun together and to have some respite from what they're experiencing. So that's The Den. One-to-one support for children and young people experiencing domestic abuse. The final project I want to talk about is just about to be launched, and it's called Elliot's Place. And I'm going to talk and mention on the topic of suicide now, because we talked before about stigma around mental health. There is still huge stigma around mental health, and there is still huge stigma around the whole topic of suicide. People don't get the support and the help that they need because they feel scared and unable to talk about their very real mental health experiences. On the 14th of September 2020, Elliot Taylor, Blackpool born and bred, 24-year-old, worked at Morrison's and took his own life in the centre of Blackpool. Elliot had a loving family who adored him and did their best to support him. He was immensely popular with his friends and with his Morrison's colleagues. An ordinary young guy with everything going for him. And yet, as we know, and it's too true of too many people still to this day, is that the anguish of mental health issues, of anxiety, of depression, was left untreated, and he didn't get the support and help which he needed. A week later, his mum, his dad and his sister came to see me, still in shock, still traumatised by their loss, and said, "We don't want any other family to go through what we've already experienced. No family should have to go through this. Can we do something?" And we've been talking for some time now at Empowerment particularly about young men, and we know that mental health affects everybody at all ages and all genders and all states of life. It's truly non-discriminatory mental health. I myself have experienced depression and anxiety over the years, and only started talking about it about 4 or 5 years ago because of the stigma. So we agreed together that we wanted to do something particularly around young men, 18 to 25, to do something. And together with the family, we are in the process of setting up Elliot's Place. And this will be a community venue based in the garden area of the Empowerment Base in Bisping. The building was actually delivered on Monday, so it's in place now. And this will be a place where young men who have experienced a mental illness, are really struggling, may even have ideas, thoughts and plans around suicide, can be referred to us, and we will have a team of peer support workers managed by a coordinator who will provide a safe, supportive space for young men in that situation. We want families to refer, we want health professionals to refer. We will work closely with other services because this is a truly multi-agency response. But what we will provide is a community of support, because what we believe, in addition to the vital services that we provide here in Blackpool and the Fylde Coast, is that we need communities of support as well. People who've gone through similar experiences supporting each other. And the one thing that will not be off the agenda in Elliot's Place is males being able to talk about mental health, about their mental illness and about the struggles they've had. And from that, I am quite sure we will be making further referrals to the incredible support agencies we've heard this afternoon. So that's just a taste of what we do, okay? I'm immensely proud and privileged to be associated. As Chief Exec, I don't do the proper work, by the way. The people who actually are around me are the people who do the proper work. But empowerment is about people's voices being heard and people getting the support and help that they need to flourish. Because the final thing I'll say is that none of us ever define people by their problems. Each human being we work alongside has this incredible potential, this uniqueness, this amazingness. We just need to facilitate an environment in which we can draw that out. And we don't write anybody off. Everybody has that potential. And we also need each other for each of us to reach that potential. How do you refer into our services? How do you find out? Well, we have a website, www.empowermentcharity.org.uk. You can ring us on 01253 477 959. You can email us, and you can do something that's actually quite quaint and old-fashioned, which is actually come and see us face to face at 333 Bisping Road. the kettle is always on. If you want to find out any more information or find out what else we do, then I am always happy to come and speak to team meetings, come and speak to you where you are, or a member of one of my colleagues can do that as well. We're anxious and we're keen to use opportunities like this just to share what we're doing, but also to learn from you guys as well. So thank you for listening. Are there any questions?
With the den, just kind of two questions. What's the specific age category, and how long do the young people have the one-to-one support for? Is there a set period of support?
Okay. So in terms of age, because it's a children and young people service, then it's 0 to 18. And believe you me, we have worked with very small children at times. And in terms of the support, it's initially for 12 weeks, but if further support is required, it can be provided.
Elliot's place, will you be supporting families who have lost people?
So the support itself is directly for the young men.
Right.
Okay. But any families that we come across, and the Taylor family themselves are really keen on this, is that there are specialist family support agencies, and we will be liaising with them to make sure the family gets support. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.